All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing? It's Sunday, November 15th, 2020. Welcome to another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you guys the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. Welcome to Album Ranking Wednesdays here on the channel, doing a special Sunday edition this week. As always, this one is a subscriber request from the user Mimic, and he has asked me to do a Morbid Angel album ranking tonight, and I was actually more than happy to answer this request because Morbid Angel being one of my favorite old school death metal bands, I was like, hell yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about Morbid Angel. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and thank you to Mimic for this request. Hope you enjoy. If you guys missed anything in the past week, click that eye in the upper right corner of the screen and get caught up on all of my latest content. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Now, Morbid Angel are among the pioneering acts of death metal and formed back in 1983 by Mike Browning, Trey Azagoth, and Dallas Ward. Morbid Angel are known as one of the pioneering bands of the death metal genre and also the first death metal band to have a significant commercial success, selling over 1 million albums throughout their career. So, pretty big accomplishment for Morbid Angel there. I mean, that's just fucking awesome. If you can be a death metal band and stick to your guns and sell a lot of records, then you've got it made as a musician while keeping your art real and packed with integrity. So that really makes me happy. Now, this is due in part to them also being the first death metal band to get signed to a major label, Giant Records, in association with Warner Brothers Records. For some time, Morbid Angel were an instrumental band until bass player Dallas began performing vocals. Now, this is a rehearsal bootleg with the following lineup. We have Dallas Ward on bass vocals, Kenny Bamber on vocals, Trey Azagoth on guitars, and Mike Browning on drums. That was back with on the rehearsal demo. Now, several singers were auditioned, and the bootleg rehearsal above was recorded in 1985 and began to get local metal attention around where they're from, Tampa, Florida. Now, vocalist Kenny Bamber and Dallas ended up sharing the vocals, but Kenny's style did not fit the band, so Dallas continued on singing from that point. Richard Brunel joined the lineup on guitar and also did some vocals at some live shows before Dallas left the band. After Dallas's departure, Mike Browning took over lead vocals, and the classic Abominations of Desolation record was recorded in 1986. The band has a tradition of releasing albums in alphabetical order, beginning with the title's first letter, which is pretty cool. Now, according to the group, this was done purely by accidental coincidence when Blessed Are the Sick was released, and when they discovered if they kept the tradition going with Covenant and Onward. On August 12, 2014, David Vincent returned to the band after leaving Morbid Angel. He began playing with the band Jenna Torturers, which is a shock rock goth punk band that features his wife Jen. So pretty cool there. Morbid Angel left their longtime label Earache because of the sales for Heretic were poor compared to the band's other releases, with the highest number with Covenant of over 500,000, lowest number Heretic at 20,000. So it's understandable why Morbid Angel would leave Earache Records. Eric Rutan returned to the band as a special guest from their European tour in 2006 as well. Now, in an interview in 2013, David Vincent confirmed that Pete Sandoval was no longer a member of the band at all. So, I mean, there's a brief history on Morbid Angel. They've had some lineup changes here and there, but they've still been pretty consistent throughout their career, and, I mean, it's Morbid Angel. What more needs to be said? They're a fucking amazing band. So let's get into the ranking right now, shall we? Coming in at number 10, Illud, Divinum, Insanus, released in 2011 on Season of Mist Records. This was, two of their albums were not released on Earache. Now, this one was a dividing record for a lot of Morbid Angel fans. It caused a lot of division in their fan base, and that's probably primarily to do with how different and esoteric and eclectic this album actually is. And I'm not a massive fan of Illud, Divinum, Insanus, but I know a lot of people that actually really love this record. I don't fall into that category, though it did make the list, so it's obviously a pretty decent album in my opinion, but definitely not one of their crowning achievements. Now, if you like Illud, Divinum, Insanus, that's fine. These are just my opinions. Coming in at number 9, Kingdom's Disdain, released in 2017 on Silver Lining Music. This one was a bit of a return to form for Morbid Angel, though it did have a lot of that esoteric, eclectic stuff that Illud, Divinum, Insanus had. It's a decent album, has some of those roots of that classic death metal, but definitely has a lot of that esoteric, eclectic, classical feel that they would obviously always put into their music. Later on, even Richard Brunel in the documentary I watched on death metal had said that they always wanted to introduce classical elements into their death metal, and this album does have some of those elements, and it's pretty decent. Coming in at number 9, Kingdom's Disdain. Coming in at number 8, Formula's Fatal to the Flesh, released in 1998 on Earache Records. This is a really good Morbid Angel album. It's got a lot of brutality, variation, great guitar riffs, drumming, and the production being back before the 2000s still has that analog, organic, dirty death metal feel. So a pretty good album. Number 8, Formula's Fatal to the Flesh. Coming in at number 7, Gateways to Annihilation, released in 2000 on Earache Records. This is one of my favorite Morbid Angel records. I really got into this album, really connected with it, and I love the riffs, drumming, bass, and vocals. Just has a really eerie feel to it. There's some atmospheric textures on this album that I really appreciated, and I love the bass work on Gateways to Annihilation. This is a pretty fucking awesome album. Gateways to Annihilation gets number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Domination, released in 1995 on Earache Records. This is the only Morbid Angel album I own at the moment, though I am going to be getting Blessed Are the Sick, Altars of Madness, Heretic, and obviously Abominations of Desolation. But Domination was a very different record as well, and a lot of people didn't like this album. It's obviously in my top 6. I really love Domination a lot. It's got a really awesome sense of brutality and emotion, some classic production, just a fucking incredible record. Coming in at number 5, Heretic, released in 2003 on Earache Records. This was a really different album for Morbid Angel. It had a lot of that brutality and that old school death metal meat and potatoes formula, but it also had some great atmosphere and had a lot of that those classical elements I talked about. And this is a really great record. I know Mike Ross of King of Swords, this is his favorite Morbid Angel record, but for me it gets number 5. Pick it up if you don't have it. It's a great album. Coming in at number 4, Covenant, released in 1993 on Earache Records, a continuation of a lot of their formulas from the first 3 albums. This is one of their greatest records. It's heavy, dark, brutal, atmospheric, great vocal work, bass, guitar, and drumming. Just an incredible Morbid Angel experience, and I absolutely love Covenant. Number 4. Coming in at number 3, Abominations of Desolation, released in 1991 on Earache Records. This is a remixed version, and it's got some more songs on it of the 1986 demo. Bit better production on this one. It has more songs, and it really was a lot more well put together than the rehearsal demo, so this is a really great fucking record, and I do want to get Abominations of Desolation coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have the absolute classic, Blessed Are the Sick, released in 1991 on Earache Records. What can I say, man? It's Blessed Are the Sick. This was Morbid Angel at one of their angriest, heaviest periods next to Altars of Madness, and it was a great continuation, almost like chapters in a book, and Blessed Are the Sick is just a fucking brutal death metal attack on all your senses, and one of my favorite Morbid Angel records, number 2, Blessed Are the Sick. Coming in at number 1, of course, we have the absolute raw, putrid, vile assassination of the senses, brutal classic, Altars of Madness, released in 1989 on Earache Records. Their debut, still one of the best death metal albums I've ever heard in my life. Now, this is first wave, being that it's 1989, and this was like a transition between that old school death metal feel that still had a bit of those thrash elements, but it was a lot more low-tuned and guttural and did have a lot of death metal ingredients, but it did still have a little bit of thrash, and it's just a fucking perfect old school death metal release. Altars of Madness is just a die-hard classic. That's going to be the next album that I buy from Morbid Angel. Fucking killer stuff. So there you guys have it, another album ranking in the books. Thank you once again to user Mimic here on YouTube for requesting this one. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And hey, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. Follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, Music of Destruction there. Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. We'd love to have you. The Seed, episode 27, The History of Death Metal Part 3 is up on Patreon. I talked about Morbid Angel a lot in this podcast series, so if you want to support the channel for $5 a month, patreon.com/Music of Destruction. For $10 a month, I'll interview your band, promote your music, and review your album, so if you want to support that way. Also, $1 a month will go, all that money goes to new equipment and everything else. We're doing reviews on the run very soon. It's going to be a great channel, movie and game reviews. Let's check out a brand new clip of what Colton James and I have in store for you on the new channel. And we are back. I want to give shout-outs now to King of Swords, Acid Metal, and, of course, Metal Ben's Chronicles. Have yourselves a great night. We will see you in the next video. Comment, subscribe, like, all that cool stuff. Have yourselves a great night. Stay fucking metal. Cheers, everybody.
The dark side.